You are now listening to the Going OB podcast. Welcome to this week's edition of the Going OB Golf Podcast. I put out a message early on at the start of this podcast series asking for real people to get in touch with real stories. And then I went and spoke to my pal and he said, I've got some stories for you. Ex-professional hockey player, now playing golf. So Craig, welcome to the show.
No, I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad. Just back from, I was just telling you before we got started there, just back from playing Dillon number 3, which was windy as anything, by the way. We got to start. We were getting ready to start, and the starter was like, "Yeah, it's about a 45 mile an hour gusts you'll be experiencing the day." And I don't know if you played Dillon 3, but you go out and out and out and out, and everything seems to be into wind, into wind, into wind. And as you know, because we've played quite a bit of golf together, I'm currently rocking this no driver club and hitting a 2-iron off the tee, which again caused some eyebrows when I first got started. And then they all realised, actually, maybe Craig's onto something here. So my partner, Fozzie, we're playing against another 2 guys. And he was ripping driver off the tee. Now, Fozzie's an absolute unit, and he bombs the ball a mile. But it was getting caught up in the wind, and it's a way off. So I was playing the sensible, I'll just keep the ball in play. He was the one that was ripping it, trying to get as far down the fairway as he could get. 9 times out of 10, he was coming out of the rough. So... But yeah, got a good victory, so that's 1-1 in the series between us and fire service. So yeah, it's a bit of a battle of the badges. But that's been my day. We've been playing today or working?
Working. Played last Sunday. Played on Sunday. So I put a new ball in place. You've probably seen that. I decided, as you know, I spoke to you about it, and I was like, right, nah, I'm going to stick to Titleist. And I went into the pro shop and I spoke to Ross at Kilspindy, and I said, Ross, I've been playing Titleist Pro V1 all my days. I'm not particularly happy with the way the ball flies for me, really. What's your opinion? He went, without sounding disrespectful, he went, Pro V1s are made for hot weather. And guys that are basically on the tour. He says, yeah. And he asked me a little bit, and I told him, I says, I feel with my irons when I'm chipping, that I'm having to chip the ball right at the hole before it bites up. And and he's like, right, well, he said, try the Callaway. And for the first shot, I actually noticed the ball flight was lower, a wee bit lower than a Pro V. And it did literally just a couple of bounces and checked up. But it seems to be a good ball for me.
Good, because I know you'd stopped in somewhere before and they gave you these, what was it, the AVX balls. I've actually just watched a video prior to coming on here today. It just came up on my feed, and it was to do with like 7 things you should have in your bag for 2024. And one of them was you should have 2 balls with you. And when you're doing like a particularly windy day, because you're allowed to swap the balls, you should be playing with something else. And he was using was it an AVX or something, as a lower flying ball when it's windy. And actually that makes perfect sense, because anytime the ball's going to go up in there, she's going to get caught and fly.
Yeah, well, I didn't notice the 13th at Kilspindy was into the wind, and you know the bunker on the right hand side of the fairway. Like when I used a Pro V into the wind, I was struggling to even get anywhere near that. And I teed the ball a wee bit lower, and I was probably about 10 yards past it into the wind, and I didn't even catch it right. And so I do think the ball is quite forgiving as well. But I would never say, without go back to Pro V, I would never say no. I need to give myself time to see how the ball is going to work for me going forward. I do like it. My scores, as you've probably seen, my handicap shot for like 5.1, I'll be up to 5.8 now, 6.3, but I'm actually getting punished for putting good scores in. And as we've had a conversation before, I generally think it's been my 9-hole cards that's caused me to be going up like that.
Aye, didn't get me started on 9-hole cards. We could have a whole podcast. In fact, I've had a whole rant on a podcast about 9 holes and being penalised for it. So, yeah, I definitely think we need to be, it should just be 18 holes. What is the point in having the facility there to do 9-hole cards if you're just gonna be penalised for it? But I know, as I say, we played quite a lot last year, and we played a bit this year as well. Not as much as we could have, because work and podcasts and bits and pieces get in the road. But you're a bit of a tinkerer, aren't you? So you'll try with different things. A bit like myself, I've tried this driver, I've tried not having a driver. But your one recently was the ball issue. But I'm glad you've got it sorted. And I know I said stick with what you're used to. I don't feel. I'm not a field player. So see, when you were saying before that you thought the ball was checking up and running, I can't feel any of that type of stuff. So I just know what it sounds like coming off the club face. I'm not a field player, but I suppose the lower you get, the more in tune with what the ball and the club connection is, and that's when you would know if it's going to make a difference.
Yeah, so last Sunday going up 14, I said, was a wee mongo. I said, right, so I think, standing on 8, I was level par. No, I was one or two over. And I was like, right, I'll just took my line, and on my follow through, my back right foot's completely slipped away from me. So it caused me to overturn it in the rough. Couldn't find it. I was like, right, okay, so 3 off the T9, but walking off with a 7, and then I was hanging myself. I did straight away negative. I was like, this ball's not for me. Lost ball, just out the pack. I was like, no, right, so onto the 8th, took a ball out, and I was like, right, 140, 145 to nearly 150. I'm like, that's an 8 iron for me, usually. And I went, right, okay, so took my yardage, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to just see what the difference is. And I took a 9, and I hit the 9 140 to 145. So the ball did carry that little bit extra. It is going to probably take me time to see if that is the right ball for me, scoring wise. But just now, it's a positive for me.
Yeah, because it will take time. You can't. I don't suppose you can go out with a sleeve of 3 and try them. You're going to have to go play in different conditions with them. See how you get on. Play when it's right. Play when it's windy. Play when it's sunny. Play when it's raining, and test it out properly to get something. Because if you've used the same ball for God knows how many years, and you've only ever played the Pro V, it's a massive change. A massive change to make. So, and it is one of the things that I suppose is a bit overlooked. I'd spoke to you before about the guys on my previous podcast when I kept chopping and changing balls, and they were saying golf's hard enough, right? And you take all the variables out of it, the wind, the rain, how you're swinging one day, if you've got injuries, whatever else. The ball should be the one thing that's the constant. So get something that you like and continue to work on it. I'm happy to say I have not listened to any of their advice, and I continue chopping and changing. I go with whatever ball is cheapest when I go to American Golf or wherever I'm ordering online. But again, as I said, I'm not of a standard where I know the difference really. And I do try to kind of hit a front of a green and let stuff roll on. I'm not a pin hunter, which I suppose is what you're trying to do when you're lower and low handicap and trying to get lower, is to go pin hunting. I'm just like front, middle, and back of the green, put the ball on there, and then worry about what I'm doing afterwards. So it's going to take a bit of time and getting used to for you, but it'll come, and you just have to keep knocking away over the winter. The only issue is you can't really go to the driving range and pound that ball, because you're not going to have the same ball all the time. So you're going to have to do in-game testing, I suppose, to see how it suits you. But I'm glad that it's early days. You're quite positive with it.
Yeah, definitely. But right, so this is quite a funny story for Sunday. So I stepped up onto 14, and I'm like, right, going to go driver, and I hit the ball, and it wasn't the best of strikes, and I'm looking, and it's going up the left hand side. I faded it, and I'm like, it's in the air, and I went, wasn't the best of connections, and this is the Cali Tour ball, and I went, oh, this might be a shout. So it was the most poor shouts. I shout for it, because I didn't expect it to reach the guy, because I knew I never hit it. You just see the guys ducking, and it landed on the medal tee right in between them. And the guy literally, I got up to apologise. The guy was he goes, that was like inches away from his head. Where I would never usually, if maybe I'm just thinking the ball's better for me, but I know like how far that medal tee was away from the like the 14th tee to the 13th tee, like obviously green. Using my pro V, I probably wouldn't even got that far away, half a hit.
Yeah. So you're gaining distance on it already anyway. Yeah. Cool. Well, continue on, see what happens. Don't change again. Stick with that ball for the foreseeable and see how that gets you. So, I want to go back. So golf's not your first sport, is it?
It is now, but no. When I was from 5 years ago, it wasn't. I played ice hockey amateur, then I moved up into the semi-professional ranks. And when I realised that I was like, right, okay, I'm pretty good at this. I stuck at it. And then I was like, yeah, try and go down the pro rank, which I did. But for amateur in Scotland, the Scottish National League, upper level, it's a massive difference. We played against some teams for the English National 1, which is now the English National Premier, Sheffield Steel Dogs. And we actually bet them. Over 2 legs we got beat in aggregate, but we bet them at home at Murrayfield. But the difference from the Scottish National League to there is a massive difference, because you've got guys coming down through the British Elite League down a level, and just to see how they go about their daily business off the ice before games, like some of the British guys' IQ of the game is to like guys up here is completely different. The Brits down south, they think like imports. They've got physiques like imports. So it's difficult to try and get yourself to that level. When I realised I wasn't going to cut it as pro, I was like, right, I'll just stick playing SNL. I became pretty decent. I was probably quite well established. I was hated in the league. Really probably hated by some guys. But probably because they were, like, off ice, I was different. But as soon as I stepped on, if I had to be, and I'm not disappointed to say it, if I had to hurt you to get that puck, I would. I didn't like something you done. I would make you know that I could score goals. I could hit, I could stick up for myself, stick up for my teammates. It's not something I was proud of, but...
That's quite surprising though, Craig, because like I've known you for a number of years now, and you're a bit of a gentle giant, to be perfectly honest with you. It'd be difficult to picture you, an aggressive side.
Yeah, so going back, when I was trying to progress, I thought, right, what do I need to do to try and move up to the British Elite League? And I basically got told for the chairman, you need to fight. And I was like, right, okay. I said, so how am I going to get myself to that level? He says, you need to establish yourself in the SNL. So we had 2 teams. We had the British Elite League team and the SNL team. And then stepping up to the Scottish National League, which is a well-established league now. Edinburgh Capitals are getting a really big crowd week in and week out. So I done that, played for Edinburgh Capitals. I had a bit of disagreement with the management. I left. I told them I was going to be leaving. I left. I signed for the week after. I signed for Paisley, and I went there. And so I'll tell you why I left. So the week during the season I was putting points on the board. I was getting assists. I think one of the seasons I had a total tally of 100 points. I would reckon about 100 points. Majority like assists, for goals as well. So I had a big disagreement. I left. I went to Paisley because I was playing well. Went through one night to play against Paisley. Never hit the ice at all. Sat me on the bench and I went, nah, I'm not having this. So I left, went to Paisley, signed the following week. I was put right on the first, like their top line on the penalty kill power play. And it was probably one of my best seasons I had there. I learned a lot more from the coach. He told me what he needed from me. And the only downside was me going back the following season, I never scored a goal or put any points on the board. And then I thought to myself, was that the right decision? So then I ended up going back to Edinburgh, sorted it out, and then I carried off from there and realised me being at Edinburgh was probably a better decision. Did I learn more playing at Paisley? I did, because the coach was excellent. The guy, like, for a British coach and Scottish, he's like a knowledge of the game, and he probably brought the best out of me. Where I just used to drop the gloves and go fighting for the sake of it, where he basically said to me, you need to start thinking when it's the right time to do it. If folk are winding you up, can you like skate away from it? Is that going to benefit the team? And then I started to like take that into consideration when it was the right time. But yeah, when I look back, do I regret playing hockey? I do. Massively. Because there's a lot of side effects that's actually probably affecting me now. And I like sit and I'm used to bag up. I speak about it. It's probably caused me a lot of anxiety and a little bit of mental health because of it. Because of the aggression you use there. Sometimes I forget that, like, when I'm at home, I can see myself getting worked up, and then I take a step back. But now when I was on the ice, I wouldn't be feared to get into a fight, drop the gloves, have a pasta, sit for 10 minutes in the penalty box, and then go again. But I do regret playing when I look back, but it was enjoyable. Played with some great players. A guy I used to play with, Joe Gotche, grew up with him through the ranks. He's still playing. Great guys from Switzerland. Joe Passport, and you should see this guy play. You would actually think he was an import. Just his physique and that. But going on.
Yeah. So I've not been like ice hockey over here. It is big in ice hockey circles, but it's not something I've ever really. But I did used to go when we were when I was younger, and used to have games on a Sunday night, and it was Edinburgh. Was it Royals at that point? Yeah. So we used to go. A few of us used to go along on a Sunday, watch a bit of the ice hockey and stuff. Just something that was a bit different. But it's never something I've really followed. So to hear somebody being like, yeah, I played at a good level and a pro thing, because obviously it's not as big over here, is it, as it is in the States or Canada? Or am I wrong about that?
I'd probably say the British Elite League is quite big. You have guys for Canada coming over. The SNL's starting to put itself on the map, getting big crowds. Like Aberdeen, they get big crowds. Edinburgh get big crowds. They're probably the two teams that get big crowds. I think Dundee might get big crowds this year because they've just joined with another team from Dundee to make it one team, but they've got their British Elite League team as well. So it is starting to develop. Sometimes I think, I do miss playing, but when I go and watch, I did make the right decision calling it a day when I did, for family and obviously so I could concentrate like on my golf. But we've had some like funny stories. There was one guy I played with, and we're playing in Dundee this night against, it was Dundee. I think it was Dundee Comets. We were playing in the semi-final of the Scottish Cup. So the week before, he had a right run-in with somebody who was a really good player. So we're in the changing room, sitting getting ready. Coach goes, right, 5 minutes to warm up. And so we go out on the ice and we come warm up, we come back in, coach's tactics in the team. I looked round, there's the guy, this guy, Craig, was a complete screwball, wouldn't bother about getting into a fight. We went away to 2 the minutes. He would whack guys with their sticks skating up mid-ice, just chop them down. So we're sitting waiting to go out. He goes into his bag and pulls out a hammer, starts putting it down his shorts. I went, what are you doing? He goes, I'm taking that on the ice with me. I says, why? He says, because when I fight that guy, I'm going to take it across him. I says, you can't do that. Aye, watch me. And the coach actually generally had to stop him, but it was just funny, seeing what he would think. So that as that game went on, he never wasn't interested in the puck. He just skated around, stick in the air, just following this guy the full night. You pass the puck to him and he'd just go by him, and he just followed him round in a circle. And I was like, what are you doing? I just want to fight him. Like, the guy was crazy anyway. I remember it came to like the last 5 minutes, and it was actually not a nice thing to see. The guy refused to fight him. He actually like sucker punched him from behind it because he wanted to fight him that bad. And it's like the guy was a complete bampot. We went away to a tournament down in Solihull, and he was like crazy. He was like, we would go out to like for dinner at the restaurants, and there was other teams sitting. He would like take beans off his plate and like pour them in their jacket pockets, like go into their changing room, soak all their kit in like water before the game, and like he was literally a screw pot, the guy. And if you were ever on the ice and he was there, you always knew he had your back.
Aye, it was better having him as a teammate than a competitor. Aye.
So like we had a tournament down in Solihull, and I mean this was that mad. They got stopped by the police once because there was like constant fighting. They came in and they went, "No, that's it. Tournament shut down." So we played a team called Den Haag for Holland, and this game was, I mean, brutal. There was just fights for the minute go, so there ended up being a bench clearance. But before that, one of our guys got in a fight and he got knocked out with that. And then next minute, I just see the stick coming flying like javelin over my head. The guy who was the other team, Dexter, just started whacking this guy over the head with his stick for no reason. He was just like that, and the coach grabbed him back. And then when the bench clearance happened, it was actually just mad. He was just like grabbing folk, hitting them, banging their head off the plexiglass. And this guy was like, I mean, a severe sort of like screw pot. I got to the stage so the league actually had to step in and like, you can't play anymore. Because he was just like injuring folk, and it was crazy. Like, like honestly, really crazy. Like some of the stuff he done in the team, now you'll all laugh at this. So one of our guys, a guy called Mark Benedin, who I played with and worked with, he had problems with his hands, like no nails, so his fingers and thumbs were like round. So we all went out, and Dexter decided it's going to be a great idea. Taped him to the pillars in the changing room.
Taped him to the pillars?
Aye, he taped him to the pillars in the changing rooms. Went away on the ice, came back, we trained, nobody knew where he was, left him there, and because he cut his fingers, he couldn't unpick himself, but he found stuff like this like hilarious. He was just, honestly, like good teammate to have for the wrong reasons, really.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're better away for him anyway. Yeah. So you then moved, so as you said, you hung the skates up about 5 or 6 years ago when the wee man came along and stuff. So,
yes.
And then you moved into the gentler sport of golf, right? So how do you think, or do you think having the hockey background has helped? Because I've watched quite a lot of YouTube videos. I've kind of fallen in rabbit holes with it. And they've had videos before where they've had ex-pro hockey players that have gone and played celebrity golf tournaments or playing in the things. And I suppose the hand-eye coordination jumps out for me as being the kind of the best one. But I think a lot of hockey players probably transition into golf and will be good at it just because of that. Do you think that's got something in it?
Yeah, so 100% helps like that, like the higher coordination, timing, like things like that. Like when you're out in the course, like knowing what to look for, like certain like shots to play, because that and like where you want to aim, because it's kind of, and also like transferring your weight. A lot of that comes through like the sport, through the hockey, like transferring your body weight, like through the shot. And it did help me because like when I gave up hockey, I got myself down to about a 5 handicap, and then I gave up golf, and then I came back to it. And if I think if there's anything I'd done different when I was younger, my dad did offer for me if I was to give up the hockey, he would have put money into my golf, and I think I might have been in a different position because when I was trying to play golf, hockey, and it's hard to adapt from one to another. Yeah. So then obviously when I retired, I was like, right, I'm going to take up the golf more serious. I think I was off at 11 when I was playing hockey though. And then I started coming down and down. I thought, right, okay, what's the next step? Where can I go? I got myself to 5 this year, and I thought, right, my next target's to 3. And when I set myself that target, I've shot away back up to 6. But this year's not been a bad year for me. Qualified for the club championship year for the first time. got to the first round and absolutely blew it. Like, basically handed the guy out on a plate, really.
What happened?
I think experience. He's been there before. I was like going up so I was like 2 down, got it back to 1, and then we were all square going up 9, and I end up landing behind a tree up the left, and he's in great position, and I'm like, I can't write this. I just need a bit of luck, and I was like, if this is the time to play one of the best shots of your life, this needs to come off. And I was like, it was a 50% chance of it if it was going to work. And I was nervous because there was quite a lot of folk up behind the ninth watching. It's called Championship. Everybody's out watching. And I was like, so my ball was like behind a tree and I never had much of a swing. My dad's like, just punch it out, stick on the green, we'll take par. We'll just need 1 putt. And I looked at him, nah. I says, I'm going to try it. So I took an 8-iron, punched it and drew it up round the corner, out of the tree, set my line off the right-hand side of the bunker, stuck it into about 3 foot. He Sally Gunner with it for 150, over the burn, up the hill to a foot, birdies it, I miss it, 2 down at the turn. And as you look, shoot my head, a 110, we have to live in a 112. I'm like, right, back to 1. I was like, right, come on, back to 1. Push my drive right on the 14. So I'm standing about, there's folk putting the match in front of us, and I was like, come on, let me go. So I stood for about 10 minutes waiting to play my shot because I know the guy, and I knew if I played he would have just like moaned away at me after. So I thought he was on the green, so I'm out of position, having to come over trees, blocked out, lost it to I took a 6, he took a 5, I lost it to a bogey. I'm 2 down going up 14, we half 14, and we half 15, and he won 16, so I ended up getting beat 3-2. And if there's anything I think I took my foot off the gas going up 12. When I got back to all square, I thought, right, I've got him here, I just need to play par golf and then I'll beat him. But I think if I had kept the same tempo, I think it eventually wore him down. But he was like, I took my hat off to the guy. I said to him, you deserved the win. And I said to him, I hope you go all the way, and he ended up getting to the semi-final. He put last year's club champion out. And I should my exact words to him, I say, the winner of us tonight, I said this to my dad, would have went all the way to the semi. And I felt confident, Craig. It felt different from the year before. I was playing well, the lead up to qualification. Went to qualification last year, I think I was 80-75, missed the cut by 2 shots. And I was like, oh, right, okay, I've missed the cut by 2 shots, just need to practice next year. But this year I was completely different to the year before. The year before I was feeling nervous in practice games, where I got myself to a certain level where when I was practicing, didn't feel nervous. And for weeks before that, I was practicing the same shot off the first. I just used that club, the same shot, and I think that's what helped me qualify. I was 76, 74. So I was 150 qualification. I just, there was folk coming up saying to me, let's me face it, you've overachieved. And I think it was just to try and put me off. But seeing I look back, I don't really care what they think, so long as I'm happy where I've went. But now I need to be able to go and do that next year. I know there was folk because of my scores, because I was 76, 74, then after that I was like 77, 80, 84. But I just think I played my best golf in that short period of time, and I went on a wee struggle spell. It's starting to come back. I'm starting to put some decent scores together, but I'm not 100% comfortable with my game just now.
Aye. The thing is, that's the problem I was speaking about when I was talking to the boy on the course today. Like I shot that 79 a couple of weeks ago at Liberton, right? And that's like the best round I've shot. Although the day I reckon if I'd have parred that one, that I'd lost the thing and I'd have 75, but I'm not counting that because it wasn't unofficial, right? So 79 was the best one I've had, and then I played with you on that following Tuesday, and then I was like, what, 92 or something like that. So it happens. You can go up and down. Although my margin of error is fine. Like, it doesn't matter when it's at a high stage, but when you're lower, I suppose you need to be more consistent, and that's when you keep on going. Otherwise, your scores will shoot up quite quickly. Like, my 80s and all that will all be there or thereabouts, so it shouldn't really have a massive indications or any issues on my handicap. But I suppose when you're playing lower, it's, you have a bad score and it ends up becoming one of your counters, it can stick you straight back up again, eh?
Well, I got put up with a 74 round till spin day because I had a 74 dropping off, and it was all to do with the score differential. And I spoke to my brother, who's playing just a bit off his scratch now. He's moved over to leaving lines, playing in the scratch team over there, and he's like, don't worry about it. He says, because your score will come back down. He's like, why are you worried? He's like, the season's finished. He's like, you achieved what you wanted to achieve, getting into a lower single figure. He's like, do your season April to April. He says, last April you're off at 10, you're down to 6 now. He's like, you got yourself to 5, just about under 5. He's like, so you need to take the positives instead of the negatives. And one of my main downfall is, you've seen it yourself, I've been standing on keys and being, oh well, where's this going to go?
Yeah. And then you beat yourself up about it, eh?
Yeah. Instead of just thinking, get up and hit it. Got selected for the team this year at Brumenau, and that was a massive eye-opener where it got to the stage. I spoke to yourself, I think I played 5. I played 4 and I lost 4, but one of them, I'm not counting. I'm sitting in the house, got a phone call, oh, can you play? Rush to the course. Up on the tee, first 5 holes, 5 down. I'm starting to scratch my head saying, this guy's no better than me. I know he's no better than me. He was a 10 handicap, the guy, and I'm like, right, what do I need to do here? And then I think it actually took me to be 5 down to basically be like, I need to get my finger out of my arse here, basically, to start playing. And then I think I went birdie, par. I won once a few holes, got it back, and I ended up getting be like 2-1. But it proves to you when you get to that level, if you're handing holes away, you're not going to win a match. You need to be trying to keep it respectable. Played a guy from Murrayfield. I was 4 up, going up 10, and get beat 4-3.
Yeah, yep. Because you get comfortable thinking you're just going to stroll this, eh?
Yeah.
And then
sorry, was it 4 up? It was something like that. I was either like 3 or 4 up. And I thought, right, I've got this in the bag. And I had one of the guys who's past club champion, he's won it 9 times. He had finished his match and they were still in the course, and he's like, just keep going, you're fine. And that match, I'm a bit dubious about it. So at 13, I hit my ball down the left-hand side. Never heard it, any clatter. They've got a few guys here. I get down and was like, oh, have you seen my ball? And I mean, I was like, literally up against a tree, so I couldn't get a shot at it. And obviously your view's blocked out. So he won that hole. And this is funny. That was at the 13th. So at 14, so that he was up at this time. So he's like basically turned the match round. He won 10, he won 11, 12, won 13. So he's up. So we're going up 14. I think I'm not 100% sure if I was up at the back 9, but I know I'll go beat 4 and 3. So this is the funny part though. I'm up the middle. He's up the middle at 14. So he bangs his ball into the green. I bang a ball into the green. He puts for birdie, misses, sticks in for the 4. Walks up, picks my mark up, takes his cap off, shakes my hand. I went, what you doing? He went, what? I says, I'm putting for the birdie there. He thought I was in the bunker and had played out. So he's had to concede the hole. And I was just like looking, and so they've like signed the team sheet off and that he's won the match. I was like, the guy was like, wasn't he going to concede the hole? Wasn't he going to concede the hole? He was literally wanting to take it as a half. And I started laughing. I mean, you can't do that. I was like, you need to concede the hole. But was he better than me? No, I don't think he was. But I've learnt a lot for it. As you say, I spoke to yourself. It was actually starting to put my confidence down because I'd like lost like four games on the bounce. But when I look back, some of the guys weren't any better than me. One of them was like really good. He was off at 2. But as the round went on, he precisely tell me he was off at +4 years ago. Played college golf in the States and wasn't long back. And I was right, okay. And like birdied all their par 5s on the course. He was like driver, iron, 2 putts. And you just can't compete with that. And you like to see how consistent the guys are. But I learnt a lot for it, met some nice people. It probably helped me, but it dragged me down, taking heavy defeats each week.
Yeah. And that's the levels. Like we've spoken about it before, that you can get to like a good amateur, and then you can get to scratch, but then you can be playing against and going and competing against guys that are off a +4, 5, 6, and some of the guys that are playing on like the Euro Pro tours or the lower ranked tours, if you like, they're struggling off a +4s and +5s to compete against some of these other guys. So it is a mega competitive, but I just need to keep plugging away. And so what's the goal then? What do you want to do for next year?
I'm going to try to get back down into the 5 bracket before the end of the season. Obviously I went up to 6.3. So my target's to be in the 5 bracket towards the end of the season. And then I would like to try to get down to 3, but it's difficult. I've realised that you need to be shooting consistent 74s, 73s. Playing, my target is to par a course. I would like to do that, try and par a course. I'm close to doing it, but I always seem to chuck the clubs at the pram, and they say when I get near it. I think my best round Brumenau was like 1 over. But I've never done that since. It's when I never had a card in my hand. But that's my target, to go down to 3 next year and then take it from there. But I have been getting lessons, and I do think that's helped. And I've said to you, go and see somebody, it'll help you.
Well, that's on the cards. I've teed up a coach, so I will be going to get lessons, and we'll be kind of documenting it as we go. But yeah, I think as I say, like I tinker about with equipment. You've tinkered about with various bits and pieces. When you had that new driver and tried various things, and I don't think there's any substitute for either a lesson or playing with people that are better than you as well. You can learn so much with just watching other people. And I get it. It probably is difficult when you get to like 5 and then you're trying to get to 3. That's a massive jump, and that's really consistent, and that's so many good rounds, all in the low 70s and whatever. Whereas me coming from maybe an 18 to trying to get to a single figure, I only really need 8 good rounds that are better than the ones I've got, and I'll come plummeting. So I think when you're trying to, it's fine margins what you're doing compared to what I'll be trying to do is jump from a bigger handicap down. So you're just going to have to keep plugging away at it, practicing over the winter. We'll get up to the driving range. We'll get some practice sessions done over the winter, and we'll try and play as much as we can going forward and practicing again. But
so your target is really it is achievable. So I was off 18 months. I got to the junior championship final at Brumenau, and I was playing against a 7 handicap Cameron Bauer, and I was 6 down, 2 rounds. I was 6 down at the turn, and I actually sat in the clubhouse, and I was like, you know what? Say this to my dad, I was like, if this rain keeps up, I'm not going back out. It's like feet are soaking. So I came out in the second round and flying off the traps, won the first 6 holes, got it back, rain came on, and he just pulled away. But then I realised that makes, when you're a high handicap and you're playing against guys that are better, I think it encourages you to go and improve it and bring your handicap down. And like I've said to you before, you have got very good attributes of your game, but you just need to capitalise on that. You can drive a ball, you can hit good iron shots. I think what your downfall is 100 yards in. And I've noticed that you lack confidence at 100 yards in. You can putt well. So I just think if you were to work on the 100 yard shots in, I think you would notice a massive difference.
Aye. It's in here though, Craigie. We've discussed this. Like it's the short choices and the kind of course management side of things that needs to be tidied up. And like I said to you earlier on, I'm either aiming for back pins or front pins or try to hit a distance that's in the middle. So I hit the distance in the middle and it runs off the back, or I've put a ball over in the rough, so I've got to waste a shot knocking it out. So it's those type of wee bits I need to clean up. I don't think it's anything. I don't think there'll be any major changes for any coach that I'm going to be working with, but it would be good just to kind of tighten things up. So that's my plan for the for going forward over the winter.
You like saying tightening things up. Jay thinks he will generally help you. You've got there that night I came up to Whitehall. You never actually played that bad. I think it's a bit of advice. What you just need to start doing is taking your number and just hitting onto the green. Also, you say that about reading greens, he could probably help you. I've started doing the 2 feet over the line for firmness, and that has hit me a lot. But things like that help your game, like playing with better players. Like obviously I play with my dad, play with my brother. My brother's really absolutely at times it's phenomenal the way he hits a ball. So I like learning from him because he's playing with guys up there that are off +1, +2. So I think that's obviously helping him improve. But you just need to stick it, have confidence in your game, and it will come.
Aye.
Get yourself fit for irons.
More equipment.
That'll help you.
Need to stop buying equipment, but we'll see how that pans out.
We're talking about that, yourself. I kept on saying, right, I'm getting a lab putter, and then I went, nah, I'll just put a lab putter grip on my putter. Then I was like, right, nah, I'm definitely getting a lab putter. I've sent my video in for the fitting, and then one day I went down to Kilspindie, seen that the Odyssey Jailbird, took it out, and I was like, this feels good. And I took out, I asked him for a shot, took out the course, 74. And I've only twice since I've had it 3-putted a green. I'm getting my 2 putts, 1 putts. You pick your line and it goes and it just feels so good. And I've had a shot at my dad's lab putter, and I actually think that putter Odyssey, what I've brought out, could potentially be a contender against lab.
It gets good reviews, and if it's good enough for the pros, it should be good enough for the amateurs as well. So I would just need to.
But it was used 27 times at Augusta this year. That putter, I read something that it was used 27 times. Schauffele, he tried it, and I don't think he was keen on it. But there's other players that are really raving about it.
Aye. No, it's a good piece of equipment. So just before we go, you've started up an Instagram page, or you've got your Instagram page now, and you're going to try and kind of document the journey from getting to 3. So, what is it, Craig Main 19 Golf you've got?
Yeah, that's it. Obviously I've got it as private just now because I do use it for family photos. Will I change that? But if people would like to follow me, by all means, they can send a request in. I'll look at it. It's not being picky who follows me, but obviously just with my wee boy being on it, I have to kind of be careful on who I let in, because I want to try to use it as family, because my wife and my boy are a big party. My wife, her patience is a saint. The amount of golf I played in, I'm surprised I've not been divorced. She deserves a medal, because in the summer I was 3 times. I think there was one night I came home, I had played 18 holes, had my dinner. I'm just going up to the golf club, the Handsome, and went out and played another 9 holes.
So, well, you just dropped yourself in it. Sheila thought you just nipped up. You should have said that.
But nah, she's been an absolute diamond this season, and I can't thank her enough. So Kilspindie this Saturday for another game. But yeah, and also yourself, you were a big part in probably my success. Tell me, be positive. And I do think I need to do that. And as you say, don't play the folks that pump negative thoughts.
They pull you down, aye.
But I need to try next year, obviously, get more games with you and that.
Yeah, we'll get something organised. You know where you're where I am, and I've got my details, so we'll go from there. But it was good to get a chat with you. Yeah, go and anybody that's interested, go and give you a follow, because you're going to try and, as you said, get yourself down, and maybe your content will be a bit different to me hacking about. If you want to see a proper difference. So, yeah, Craig, it was good to speak to you, and I'll catch you again at some point.
Yeah, will do, mate. Take care.
Cheers. Cheers.
Thanks for listening. Please consider subscribing to the podcast.